There's a tiny, forgotten village nestled between the hills of Yorkshire called Sarmuyi, a strange name that raised more eyebrows than curiosity. But the locals, few and aging, all whispered the same chilling warning. Never go near the house that stands alone beyond the woods. Amelia Thompson, a 24-year-old journalist from London, had made a name for herself running a popular YouTube channel dedicated to real horror stories. When she heard about the eerie tale surrounding Sarmuyi, she packed her camera gear and headed north, determined to uncover the truth. Upon arriving, the village greeted her with cold stares and shaking heads. An elderly woman named Margaret Weller, the village shopkeeper, pulled her aside and muttered, "Love, don't go near that place. No one ever comes back once they step through that door." But Amelia had heard warnings before. This wasn't her first ghost story, or so she thought. That night, she went. With a GoPro strapped to her chest and a torch in hand, Amelia hiked through the woods. A dense fog rolled in. Twigs cracked beneath her boots. 20 minutes in, she saw it. A tall, burned-down Victorian house, completely isolated. And then she heard it. A little girl's laughter. Terrified but drawn in, Amelia pushed the door open. The air inside was heavy, thick with ash and something older, something angry. On the dusty floor, she saw a worn-out diary. The first page read, "My name is Elspeth. They locked me here. Burn me. But I'm not alone anymore." Suddenly, a freezing gust of wind blew through the hallway. Then a whisper, right by her ear. "You want my story, Amelia? Let me show you." She turned sharply. No one was there. Her camera switched on by itself and started recording. In the viewfinder, a figure appeared. A young girl, her face half-burned, eyes hollow, wearing a soot-covered nightgown. Then blackness. The next morning, Margaret Weller found a small memory card in an envelope outside her shop. On it was one video. Amelia screaming, "Please. I just wanted the truth. Elspeth, let me go." The video cut to black with a single line of text. "Those who come to listen stay forever." Amelia was never seen again. But locals say, if you go to the edge of the forest at night, you might hear her whisper, "I only wanted a story." The village of Sarmuyi had returned to its usual silence. But for Daniel Reeves, a 32-year-old schoolteacher who had lived in the village all his life, something didn't sit right. He had known Amelia briefly. She had visited his classroom to ask about the local legends. She was kind, clever, and curious. And now she was simply gone. Daniel wasn't one to believe in ghost stories, but something kept bothering him. That night she vanished. Children in his class started talking about a woman crying near the woods, calling for help. One boy even said, "She's in the house, but it's not her anymore." Daniel couldn't ignore it. One evening, armed with nothing but a lantern, a notebook, and Amelia's last YouTube video downloaded to his phone, he followed the same trail into the woods. The house stood exactly as he'd heard. Crumbling brick, scorched roof, windows like black eyes staring out. Daniel hesitated. His heart thudded in his chest, not from fear, but from the weight of the unknown. He entered. Inside, it was colder than outside. And silent. He called out softly, "Amelia, if you're here, I'm here to help you." Suddenly, the floorboards creaked. A distant voice echoed from the top of the stairs. "You shouldn't have come, Mr. Reeves." Daniel looked up. There she was, Amelia, standing still at the top of the stairs. Her face was pale, her eyes glassy. She wasn't blinking. Her voice was slow, hollow. "She doesn't let go of the ones she likes." Daniel stepped closer. "Amelia, it's me. Let's leave this place." But her head slowly tilted, unnaturally, like her neck was bending too far. And her voice changed, high, broken, like two people speaking at once. "Elspeth wants to play." Suddenly, the lights flickered. The air turned freezing. Walls groaned as if the house was breathing. And then footsteps, little ones, fast, all around him. Daniel shone his lantern in every direction, but saw nothing until the beam landed on a corner of the room. There she was, Elspeth, small, burned, laughing softly as her head jerked side to side. "Do you want to stay with us, Mr. Reeves?" He ran. Back through the hallway, down the stairs, nearly tripping as Amelia's voice screamed behind him. "Don't leave me. Help me." He burst out into the forest and didn't stop running till the village lights came into view. Back in the village, Daniel collapsed outside Margaret Weller's shop, trembling. She helped him inside, gave him tea, and said only one thing. "She's chosen Amelia now. The house has what it wants." Daniel looked up, his voice shaking. "Then we burn it down." Later that night, Daniel, along with 2 other villagers, carried kerosene cans into the forest. They didn't speak. They didn't think. They doused the house, lit the match, and watched it burn. Screams, dozens of them, echoed from inside as black smoke curled into the sky. Faces appeared in the windows. Some old, some young, some twisted beyond recognition. And as the fire roared, a final whisper rode the wind. "You think fire can stop her?" Then silence. Epilogue. 1 month later. Daniel moved away from Sarmuyi. He never returned. But one rainy evening, a package arrived at his new flat in London. Inside, there was a diary. Old. Burnt. The first page read, "My name is Elspeth. I was never alone. And now, neither are you." Ending note for YouTube viewers. The house may be gone, but the spirit never needed walls. She lives in stories, in names spoken aloud, and in the eyes of those who still remember. Daniel stood in the center of the rebuilt house. Every wall was whispering his name. The portraits on the walls weren't of strangers anymore. They were all him. In different times, different clothes, as if he had been here before. But he hadn't. Had he? In front of the fireplace, Amelia waited. She looked peaceful. Too peaceful. Her smile was eerie. "Welcome back, Daniel," she whispered, her voice strangely layered. "You're ready now." Daniel backed away. "Ready for what?" "To finish the story," she said. "The house needs a new author." Suddenly, the floor cracked beneath his feet. A desk rose from the center, holding a quill and a thick, empty book titled, "The Ones Who Tried to Leave." The house groaned again. Amelia approached slowly. "It doesn't matter how far you ran. It followed you, Daniel, because stories need endings." Daniel looked at the book. Inside were blank pages except the first line. He returned to finish what she started. He turned to run, but the front door was gone. Windows vanished into black walls. He was sealed inside. "No!" he screamed. "I won't write." But then he heard it, a soft, child's voice behind him. "You already have." He spun around. There stood Elspeth, burned, smiling, holding a page torn from the book. On it, written in blood, was his final scream. 1 month later, a London-based real estate agent listed a strange Victorian house for sale. No one remembered it being built. No blueprints. No history. But the house seemed perfect, elegant, clean, and waiting. A young couple visited for a viewing. They laughed about the silly ghost story surrounding it.